Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and someone's already walking back already looking at me very strangely. Subscribe if you are new around here. But as you can see, we are back in the motor, and I'll be honest with you, I am absolutely sweating. So for everyone's sanity and my own personal health, I'm going to keep this video a wee bit shorter than a regular scheduled programming, and that will be a massive thing for a lot of people that's watching today's video, because it is absolutely beautiful and it should give you enough time to go out and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and hopefully I'll be alright after this very heated sauna session. But we are here for a reason. Unfortunately for Barry Ferguson, that reason isn't love, as we're actually here to talk about the news that I think 99.9% of people were expected to happen very, very soon. But again, there was still that 0.1% that was holding on hope that it could be Barry. I think Barry himself was one of those 0.1% that was hanging on for dear life, praying he'd be getting the opportunity, as he sort of let us know that in every single press conference and every single time a mic's been chucked in front of him. He badly wanted the opportunity to build on what he was trying to put in place with the takeover this year, with a fresh season, being able to get his own players. I can imagine he built it all up in his noggin, but as we all knew, and we did know today, Rangers weren't agreeing with that type of mentality or type of approach. They've got different ideas in terms of the managerial position and the coaching staff, as Rangers officially let everyone know without a shadow of doubt now that Barry will not be the next permanent manager at Rangers Football Club, as they released a statement today thanking him and his coaching staff for their services over the last couple of months, picking up what was an absolutely shambolic, embarrassing season, and he had to try and pull everything in and hold it together to the very, very end, with everything crumbling and what has been one of the worst seasons at this football club in a very, very long time, both on the park and off the park. It's been absolutely shambolic, and it went into the hands of one of our greatest captains ever, one of our greatest players, and my personal hero, and my favourite player of all time, Barry, just to hold on the reins till we go to the end of the season and get to the takeover and hopefully get some fresh life injected to this club. But again, this video is coming because that fresh life also starts in the dugout as we wave goodbye to Barry. And I guess today's video is not only to react to the news that I think all of us knew were coming, we're going to sort of reflect on his time at the football club. Were we right to sack him, or should we right to sack Clement? Should we have went with Barry? Would we be in a better position if we went to Clement? We'll try and touch on that debate that I'm seeing often down in the comment section below and obviously online. And the third and final one, but we're here to discuss today, is the fact that where the earth do we go now? So that's the three things we're going to try and discuss in today's video. So hopefully the camera quality is alright, and hopefully again the sound is alright, because trust me, I'm sweating here, ladies and gentlemen. But starting off with, how did Barry do? Did he transform what was a bang average Rangers side that was on the decline, that threw another manager under the bus and they couldn't kick their own asses, given opposition record after record versus Rangers that they hadn't done in 20, 30 years? Was he magically able, despite his limited experience, to come in here and drastically change all that? No, it wasn't. And a lot of people will argue we looked just as bad under Barry as we did under Clement, possibly even worse. And I think the stats and statistics, if you want to get to them, suggest that he did do a worse job than Clement. You know what I mean? He's the 14th win ratio in terms of that. He's lower than Bale, he's lower than Clement, he's lower than even the likes of Paul Le Guen and even Murray. So the stats are there to suggest that Barry did a horrific time. But in my defence of my hero, ladies and gentlemen, despite me not being a fan of some of his managerial choices, I think this ship that he went ahead and jumped on was already quickly on the decline. I think a lot of people knows this is the last year. I thought a lot of these players had played their last season at this club, and I guess his lack of drastically changing everything, his win rate and all this being shocking, was maybe just a sign of we had kicked the can down the road too much that was already spiralling. And that little tiny snowflake that started maybe a year or two ago, some will argue that the day we won the league all those years ago under Gerrard, it was just there at the bottom there, and nobody, not even one of our greats, could go ahead and spark any sort of life. Again, I wasn't drastically expecting us to start looking like a fantastic team, but I thought he'd go in there, he'd kick asses, he'd hold people responsible, he'd call people out publicly, and he would get Son back, and to be fair, he tried his best, you know what I mean? He came in, he gave everybody a fresh opportunity. They let him down almost instantly, pretty much in his first game at Ibrox in charge. Then he's came out, he never done what Clement did, where he talked about the stats. We're really good here, we were really good. Barry called these players out. That's not a Rangers team. We deserve better, we will get better. Wait until you see. He constantly challenged them and took the Kerry gloves off, but even that, you know what I mean, even getting called out, couldn't he spark life into what was one of the worst lifeless Rangers teams I've ever seen play in the top flight of Scottish football. So that's how I feel about his job that he done. Was he great at it, ladies and gentlemen? Nah, no really. Someone is about to walk by right now. Hopefully they are subscribing to the channel. But again, at the very same time, were we drastically expecting much more than what he was maybe able to do? Because he had some great individual moments, did he? I don't think anybody was expecting us to go to Parkhead, considering how badly we were playing, to come round, turn it round like that and go ahead and get a win there. Again, I've seen some of my favourite managers of all time. I've seen some of my favourite players. Barry was in some of the teams, by the way. My guy, at his peak of his powers, no be able to go to Parkhead and win. So I think gone there and shocking everybody was a great bit of individual man management in the way he went and got these players motivated. But just as much as that, I think still his crowning achievement was that away game versus Fenerbahce. You know what I mean? I was over in Turkey. I seen the special one of the greatest managers of all time look lost because Barry and the boys had tactically surprised them. Now, again, they did try and stick with that in the home game, and it did certainly put us in a ways we had to rely on penalties. But again, he still choked them and got one of the greatest away performances we've seen in Europe for a very long time. Dortmund still at the top. But again, that was all good. Some of the stuff that he did in tactical tweaks, you know what I mean, even to overturn the Kilmarnock game was pretty impressive. But again, there was a couple moments you thought, all right, there's the Barry effect, there's something right there. But again, there was only so much, in my personal opinion, he could have done. And whether we kept Clement or stayed with Ferguson and all that, I don't think we'd have drastically seen much more than what we saw pathetically towards the end of the season. And that awful win rate at home, how long it took him to win a game, it's just, it offends me because, again, I love this club and I loved Barry as a player, and to see these players half-arse it and walk about for somebody like that and put him through, what I imagine would have been, because he's like us, you know what I mean, he bleeds this club as well. That hurt him being in the managerial dugout, and to see the lack of effort in some of these games, sleepwalking through SPFL games, getting embarrassed in cup competitions, he would have felt the exact same as us. But again, I can put all my love for the man aside and look at him as a manager. Did I want that as a manager? No. And that's based on everything I've said so far, and the fact that despite it being a tough job, despite me not expecting much from him being able to change and drastically change anything, the way he went about his business as well in terms of his personnel choices and everything like that is the reason. It's nothing based on what happened with Clement, it's no these players spitting the dumb out. It's what I've seen in Barry's short managerial reign that, for me, long term at this club, do I think that's going to drastically fix anything? Do I want to see another season built on the backs of the likes of James Henry? Do I want to see another season built on the backs of CD9? Brilliant that he won his golden boot, but again, I feel like we need more in the big games, in the big moments, and I need to see more progression of the younger players. I need to see Cortez. We spent all the money on him. We needed to see more, and we need to see Clinton Asala. I needed a couple more experienced players dropped out of that team and learned a lesson, but we never quite kicked forward. And I guess you could look at it this way. That's Barry and the boys, the guys that truly get this club, having the experience in there, having a crack at it. We had Clement, who had one of the prettiest CVs we've seen for a manager. League titles here, league titles there, back-to-back cups, great resume. He couldn't get them and gone back before that as well. Maybe it's no just in terms of what the managers can do. Maybe for me, what I've learned this season is it's actually about 85% of the players that we are constantly relying on. And again, people will jump back and say, well, it's Barry that's picking him. He had the chance to change it. And that is probably why he's not going to be the Rangers manager. If he had went a different route, if he had changed a couple of things, if he put his balls on the line and really made some drastic choices, he maybe would have forced himself into the spotlight. But he tried to sort of play it safe. He tried to rely on our strongest team. But again, our strongest team had gave opposition in the SPFL records that they hadn't had in 20, 30 years. So our strongest team didn't exist. He's kind of stuck with what he was got, and they stuck what Clement went with, I should say, and ultimately it ended up failing him the same way it failed Clement, the same way it failed Beale, the same way it failed Gio, etc, 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 and maybe it underlines the major problem, and the major problem that this new manager, whoever it is that comes in the door this summer, his first protocol is to learn. I'm no wanting arrogance, I'm no wanting ego, I'm no wanting I can fix them, I can change it, look at this. I'm no needing that. I've seen manager after manager come in thinking they can make these guys winners. A lot of them just aren't they winners, and that's harsh to say. I really understand it, because there is good guys in that dressing room, but good guys didn't always win everything, you know what I mean? Nice guys finish last. We've used that line hell of a lot. I needing some winners as against someone else does pull up right next to me. So that's how I feel about that one. And where do we go? Again, just to back up what I've just said there, I need a manager, as sweat does come off the Nasher, that learns for previous mistakes that Barry never learned, that Clement never learned, that some of these core players in the team that's picked week in and week out can be relied on. And that's my thoughts and opinions going into the summer, which can you see the sweat coming off my Nasher? But do I need water? Am I in danger? I think I might be. Hit the like button, save me. But that's me, ladies and gentlemen. That's my reaction to Barry and the coaching staff being paid off. I wouldn't be surprised, or at the end, their coach not kept on, I should say. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Barry or that brought in, or maybe McGregor brought in as a goalkeeping coach. But again, that is my opinion on it right now. Is it the right decision not to keep him on as a manager? I think so. Did he do alright job? I think so, individually. Did he do enough to even be in the conversation for the next manager? No, my personal opinion. But again, that's me all done and dusty. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. And look, we've not really talked too much about managers. I know Davide is obviously I think one that Rangers really want. But if it was up to you right now, who would be the next Rangers permanent manager? Let me know down there in the old comment section below. But I better get out here and get some water, ladies and gentlemen. It's 23 degrees and the grey noggin is drenched in sweat. But until then, I've been CJNova92. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. But until then, thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye. Oh, I've just hit the phone as well. Woohoo!